Melania Trump's life as First Lady was a whirlwind of state dinners and charity galas. But one day she traded her designer gowns for a simple outfit and headed to a small-town supermarket on a mission to address food insecurity. As Melania filled cart after cart, onlookers watched in disbelief. The real story was just beginning. We'll take you behind the scenes of this extraordinary act of kindness, revealing the careful planning, logistical challenges, and the moment at checkout that no one saw coming. How would she navigate the crowded aisles without drawing attention? This is Melania Trump like you've never seen her before, embarking on a journey that would change lives. In the opulent confines of Trump Tower, Melania Trump's morning routine was abruptly interrupted by a news report about food insecurity in America. The images of struggling families struck a chord, causing her to set down her artisanal coffee with a gentle clink. Her world of luxury suddenly felt distant from the harsh realities faced by millions of Americans. Melania's mind wandered to her childhood in Slovenia, where her family had sometimes struggled to make ends meet. The memory of her mother's worried expression as she stretched their modest resources stirred something deep within her. Now surrounded by opulence, she felt a growing sense of responsibility. As she paced her penthouse, an internal conflict raged. What can I do, she thought. I have the means to help, but will people take me seriously? The scale of the problem seemed overwhelming, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to act. Melania made a decision that would change everything. She walked to her closet, bypassing designer heels for a pair of rarely worn sneakers. This wasn't about maintaining an image. It was about connecting with people on a human level. With determination and nervousness, Melania prepared for her unexpected mission. She exchanged her usual elegant attire for simple, comfortable clothes. As she applied minimal makeup, her hands trembled slightly, betraying her uncertainty. The elevator ride to the lobby felt longer than usual. As she stepped onto the bustling New York City streets, the world seemed different. She made her way to a local supermarket, a place she'd never visited personally. Standing before the automatic doors, Melania took a deep breath. As they slid open, she felt a surge of resolve. She grabbed a shopping cart and entered, her eyes widening at the colorful displays and long aisles filled with everyday essentials. As she moved through the store, filling cart after cart, Melania noticed the surprised looks from other shoppers. Some whispered, others stared openly. But instead of shrinking from their gazes, she stood taller. With each item she placed in her carts, she felt more connected to the family she hoped to help. The journey was just beginning, and Melania knew there would be obstacles ahead. How would she manage the logistics of this massive purchase? How would she ensure the food reached those who needed it most? These questions fueled her determination to turn this moment of inspiration into real, tangible help for those in need. As Melania pushed her first cart into the bustling supermarket, uncertainty washed over her. The fluorescent lights cast an unfamiliar glow, highlighting the contrast between her designer outfit and the everyday shoppers. She hesitated, clutching her shopping list like a lifeline. This was uncharted territory for a woman who had never set foot in a grocery store before. Disorientation was palpable as Melania's eyes darted from aisle to aisle, trying to make sense of the product labyrinth. The variety was overwhelming. How many types of canned beans could there possibly be? As she tentatively reached for her first item, she felt curious stares. Whispers rippled through the store. Is that really Melania Trump? But Melania was determined. She took a deep breath and steeled herself for the task ahead. With each item she placed in her cart, her confidence grew. She approached shopping with the same meticulous attention she'd applied to fashion choices in the past. Now, instead of curating outfits, she was curating a lifeline for those in need. As she moved through the store, Melania consulted with employees, seeking advice on practical and nutritious options. She learned about shelf-stable proteins, versatile grains, and nutrient-dense vegetables. Her carts filled with carefully selected items. Large bags of rice and beans, canned goods, pasta, and hearty soups. Word of Melania's shopping spree spread like wildfire. Shoppers watched in awe as she filled cart after cart. Store managers, initially skeptical, now scrambled to keep shelves stocked. As the pile of groceries grew, so did the anticipation. The checkout area became a hub of excitement. When Melania approached the register, a hush fell over the crowd. The numbers started to roll. 10 cart, 20, 30. The total kept climbing, surpassing anything the store had seen before. When the final tally was announced, 57 carts and over $100,000, audible gasps echoed through the store. This wasn't just a shopping trip, it was a seismic event in charitable giving. But as the shock wore off, a new challenge loomed. How would all this food be transported and distributed to those in need? Melania's mission was far from over. In fact, the real work was just beginning. As the final item beeped through the scanner, a mountain of groceries stretched as far as the eye could see, transforming the checkout area into a bustling hive of activity. Multiple lanes had opened to handle Melania's unprecedented purchase, with wide-eyed store managers coordinating their staff as the reality of the situation sank in. The carefully selected items were a testament to her determination to make a difference, but they also presented a daunting challenge: getting these vital supplies to those who needed them most. As if sensing her momentary hesitation, an impromptu team began to form around Melania. Store employees, initially stunned by the scale of the purchase, now rallied to her cause. Curious onlookers set aside their own shopping to lend a hand, demonstrating the power of community spirit. The logistical challenges loomed large. Large-scale food distribution to multiple shelters across several cities was a complex operation that even seasoned charities struggled with. Questions raced through Melania's mind. How would they ensure the food remained fresh? Which shelters had the capacity to handle such a large influx of supplies? How could they guarantee that the assistance reached those most in need? Melania's years of experience in the public eye were now put to a different test. She pulled out her phone, making call after call to local transportation companies, shelter coordinators, and trusted friends. Outside the store, a convoy of vehicles began to assemble. Refrigerated trucks, normally used for catering events, were repurposed to ensure perishables stayed fresh. Vans from local churches and community centers joined the lineup, their drivers eager to participate. As the last of the groceries were loaded, Melania gathered her newly formed team. She unveiled a comprehensive distribution plan that would reach shelters across 3 major cities, ensuring the impact of her donation would be felt far and wide. The logistics were intricate, but her determination was unwavering. Melania wasn't content with simply dropping off boxes of food. She wanted to add a personal touch to remind those receiving the donations that they weren't forgotten. As the convoy prepared to depart, she revealed one final surprise that would transform this act of charity into something truly extraordinary, hinting at a personal touch that would make this mission even more meaningful. As the convoy buzzed with activity, Melania Trump felt a sudden spark of inspiration. The massive food donation was impressive, but she knew it needed something more personal. Reaching for a stack of note cards and a pen, she began to transform this act of generosity into a deeply personal connection. With a steady hand, Melania started writing. Each card carried a message of hope and encouragement. "You are not forgotten," one read. "Your strength inspires us all," said another. She poured her heart into every word, drawing from her own experiences of uncertainty and change. Dr. Emily Katz, a social psychologist specializing in charitable giving, explains, "When people receive a personalized message along with material aid, it creates a sense of being seen and valued as an individual. This can be incredibly powerful for those facing hardship." Inspired by this knowledge, Melania took her personal touch further. She began assembling special care packages for families with children. Each package included essential food items, small toys, coloring books, and handwritten notes addressed specifically to the children. As word of Melania's actions spread, the atmosphere shifted. What had started as an impressive logistical operation now felt like a collective act of compassion. Hardened charity workers found themselves blinking back tears as they watched the former First Lady pouring her heart into each package. At the first shelter, staff were initially overwhelmed by the sheer volume of food arriving, but as they began unpacking, they discovered the handwritten notes. Maria, a longtime shelter coordinator, read one aloud, her voice catching. "To the unsung heroes facing each day with courage, your resilience lights the way for others. You are not alone." The reaction was powerful. Residents who had grown accustomed to faceless charity found themselves holding tangible proof that someone cared about them as individuals. Children's eyes lit up as they discovered the special packages meant just for them. John, a veteran who had been living on the streets for 3 years, clutched his note with trembling hands. "I can't remember the last time someone wrote me a personal message," he said, tears welling in his eyes. "It makes me feel human again." As news of Melania's personal touch spread from shelter to shelter, it created a ripple effect of emotion and hope. Social media buzzed with images of the handwritten notes and care packages. Local news stations picked up the story, focusing on the scale of the donation and the personal connection Melania had forged with those in need. As the sun rose over the city, a tweet from @shopper Sally caught fire. "Just saw Melania Trump buying cartloads of groceries at my local supermarket. She's handing them out to homeless people outside." Within hours, Melania Cares and First Lady feeds were trending worldwide as people shared their reactions to this unexpected act of kindness. The initial response was a whirlwind of mixed emotions. Skepticism clashed with admiration as the internet grappled with the authenticity of the reports. Some praised Melania for her generosity, while others questioned her motives. As verified accounts of store employees and volunteers surfaced, public opinion shifted. By midday, major news networks had picked up the story, catapulting it from social media sensation to mainstream headline. CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC all led with breaking coverage of Melania's mission. The story's reach was staggering, with engagement rates soaring far beyond typical news about public figures. Social media analyst Sarah Chen noted, "Posts about Melania's supermarket sweep are being shared 10 times more than average celebrity news stories. People are having genuine conversations about food insecurity and community support." As the day wore on, a new trend emerged. Inspired by Melania's actions, everyday people began sharing their own acts of kindness. The number Pay It Forward challenge gained momentum, with participants buying groceries for strangers, donating to food banks, or volunteering at shelters. Local news stations reported a surge in food bank donations and shelter volunteerism. Chicago's Greater Food Depository saw a 300% increase in online donations. In Atlanta, the Metro Atlanta Task Force for the Homeless reported doubled volunteer signups overnight. Influential figures weighed in. Celebrity chef Jose Andres tweeted, "This is what leadership looks like. Thank you Melania Trump for shining a light on food insecurity." The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation announced they would match donations to food banks nationwide for 48 hours, up to $5 million. Small businesses joined the movement, offering discounts to customers who bought items to donate. Community leaders organized impromptu food drives. In New York City, teenagers started an Adopt a Shelter campaign, encouraging peers to support specific homeless shelters. However, some critics voiced concerns about the long-term impact of such spontaneous giving. Homelessness advocate Maria Rodriguez cautioned, "While this outpouring is heartening, we need sustainable solutions, not just one-time donations." As night fell, the nation witnessed a shift in the conversation surrounding food insecurity and homelessness. What began as a single act had sparked a collective awakening, setting the stage for potentially lasting change in how Americans approach these pressing social challenges. James Wilson, a father of two, never expected a former First Lady's shopping spree to change his life. "The food donations gave us breathing room," he shared, "but it was the job training program that really turned things around. I'm now employed full-time and can provide for my family again." Wilson's story exemplifies the lasting impact of Melania Trump's unexpected act of kindness at a local supermarket. As the initial buzz settled, experts began analyzing the true reach of her gesture. Dr. Amanda Reeves, a sociologist specializing in poverty and social movements, noted, "While high-profile acts of charity can spark immediate action, the real challenge lies in sustaining that momentum." Melania embraced this challenge with unexpected vigor, launching the Beyond the Shelves initiative. This collaborative effort aimed to address the root causes of food insecurity through job training, financial literacy courses, and mental health support. The program partnered with established nonprofits to ensure a comprehensive approach. The ripple effect extended far beyond immediate beneficiaries. Corporate America took notice, with several major companies announcing partnerships with food banks and shelters. Tech giant Innovate Corp pledged 1% of its annual profits to food security initiatives, while national grocery chain Freshmart implemented a Roundup for Hunger program. Data showed promising results. The National Coalition for the Homeless reported a 15% decrease in food insecurity rates in cities where Melania's donations were distributed. Shelters in these areas saw a 20% increase in successful job placements for their clients. Linda Martinez, director of the Harmony House Shelter in Chicago, shared, "We've seen a 50% increase in volunteer applications since Melania's visit. People who had never considered volunteering before are now showing up regularly." Dr. Reeves observed a shift in public perception. "We're seeing a growing awareness that food insecurity and homelessness are complex issues requiring multifaceted solutions. People are starting to understand it's about creating pathways out of poverty." This changing mindset influenced policy discussions at local and national levels. Several cities initiated task forces to address food deserts and improve access to nutritious food in underserved communities. At the federal level, bipartisan support grew for legislation aimed at strengthening the social safety net and investing in affordable housing. For Melania Trump, the supermarket sweep marked the beginning of a personal transformation. Those close to her noted a newfound sense of purpose and engagement with social issues. Sarah Tanner, a longtime friend, remarked, "She's more passionate and involved than I've ever seen her." As the impact of Melania's actions continues to unfold, her unexpected foray into food security has challenged preconceptions about celebrity philanthropy and its potential for lasting change. As the sun dipped below the Manhattan skyline, Melania Trump's evening routine began. Instead of perusing fashion magazines or planning social engagements, she pored over statistics on homelessness and food insecurity. The transformation from reluctant First Lady to active philanthropist was evident in every aspect of her life. Dr. Elizabeth Harper, a political historian specializing in First Ladies, noted, "Melania's shift in focus and intensity of engagement is remarkable. It's as if she's discovered a calling that was always there, waiting to be awakened. Gone were the carefully curated public appearances and meticulously planned fashion statements. In their place was a woman driven by purpose, often seen working late into the night on community initiatives. Her evolving perspective led to unexpected alliances, like her partnership with Maria Gonzalez, a longtime advocate for homeless families in New York City. When I first got the call from Melania's team, I was skeptical," Gonzalez admitted. "But after our first meeting, I realized she was genuinely committed to understanding the root causes of homelessness. She's asking the right questions and listening to those on the front lines." As word spread of Melania's hands-on approach, doors began to open. Nonprofit leaders, policy experts, and even former critics began to see her as a potential ally in the fight against poverty and hunger. The glittering world of high fashion seemed a distant memory as she prepared for her next major initiative. Melania's public image underwent a dramatic shift. Once known primarily for her style and grace, she was now recognized for her commitment to social causes. Media coverage focused on her work rather than her wardrobe, and invitations to speak at conferences and forums flooded in. The impact of her newfound passion was felt beyond the nonprofit world. Politicians from both sides of the aisle sought her input on social policies, recognizing the unique perspective she brought to the table. Her social media presence, once a showcase of glamorous events, now highlighted the faces and stories of those she aimed to help. As anticipation built for her next announcement, rumors swirled about a potential nationwide campaign to address food insecurity. Whatever the announcement, it was clear that Melania Trump was no longer content to stand on the sidelines. She had seen the power of direct action and personal engagement. The woman who once shied away from the spotlight now stood ready to use it as a force for change, armed with purpose and a vision for a more equitable America. When Sarah, a local teenager, heard about Melania Trump's supermarket sweep, she launched a neighborhood food drive that quickly gained momentum. Melania reflected on her own unexpected journey. "This experience opened my eyes to the power of small acts of kindness. It's changed how I view my role in society." The impact continued to ripple outward. Food banks reported increased donations, and community gardens blossomed in urban areas. As the story faded from headlines, its message endured. Compassion knows no boundaries. Melania's simple shopping trip had become a catalyst for change, proving that unexpected actions can lead to profound transformations.